Hi everybody, Brian here again. Go over what I picked up for this past week. I picked up not a lot, but it's some good stuff. I'll start with Super Nintendo and 16-bit generation stuff. I picked up one game for the Super Nintendo for $1. That's Bill Lambert's Combat Basketball. I never played this. It's a sports game. I don't really like basketball, but it has combat basketball. And it's made by Hudson Soft, and I like Hudson Soft. So maybe for $1, see what it's like. So there it is. There's the cover of it. It's a pretty futuristic looking, funny cover. So okay, also picked up for $1. I didn't have this for the Genesis. This is Mercs. Also for the Genesis for $2.50, I picked up Subterranea. And my goal for this year is to get to around 250 Genesis games. I have around 130 now. I want to get around the 200 mark in Genesis games. And I want to get around 300 in Super Nintendo. I have 2 something now. I want to get there. And then I want to break the 400 mark in NES games. Okay, here we go. We'll go on to some Game Gear stuff. I picked up for $1. I picked up Marble Madness by Tengen. For $1, I picked up The Incredible Crash Dummies and RoboCop vs. Terminator. Oh, there's 2 more Genesis games I picked up. I didn't add because they're in boxes here. I picked up complete in box. I picked up Streets of Rage 3. I just need the first one now for either Master System or Genesis. I think it came out on as well, and an early release for the Genesis, Dynamite Duke. I remember seeing this in the commercials for the Genesis. It was like almost looked like Cabal, and how you were behind the person and you shot, but I think the screen scrolled, if I'm not mistaken. But I always thought it looked amazing because of how big Duke was. If you see him right there, the graphics were just amazing for the time. For the NES, I picked up Contra Force. This is not actually a Contra game. It was called something Hound. Arc-Hound. It was originally going to be released in Japan in the Famicom, for the Famicom, but they scrapped it. And they released it just in America, and they put it as a spin-off of Contra, and they called it Contra Force. Also picked up, now this is actually, I've never heard of this game before, and it's called Stinger. And it's a shoot-'em-up game. And I was researching it a little bit, and it's actually in the Twin Bee family of games. Very popular in Japan. I think this might be the only one that came out for the Nintendo over here. I'm not 100% sure. So that's the only NES games I got. For the N64, I picked up a game I've been looking for a while. That's Gauntlet Legends in the box. I love the N64 boxes. They just look like toys, and I love that feeling of... It takes me back to when games would be in the shelf behind the case, and they looked like toys. And I think, with DVD cases, uniform game cases, they all look the same now. But back then, when you saw N64, Super Nintendo, Genesis, they all had a different look to them, and I really like that. And anytime you can get a complete N64 game, it's great. I think this was $15, which isn't too bad. It goes for around 20 or so. But I was more than happy to pay for it because I love Gauntlet. I think I played Dark Legacy. I used to play that one in the arcades. I played that one in the arcades. But I never actually played a console Gauntlet except for, the 3D ones. I never played a 3D Gauntlet. I only played the first and second Gauntlets. And there's apparently Gauntlet 4 on that Genesis, which I'm looking for as well. And for the Vita, decided to get a Vita game. Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time. And I've never played a Sly Cooper game. I always loved how they looked, and I decided I'd try it out on the Vita. And what I was surprised at with the Vita, I was expecting to open it up and look through a manual. And this is all you get inside of Vita. Well, that's my receipt, but in a Vita game, that's all you get. The game, no manual, no nothing. And that was kind of disappointing. I wish games would come with manuals, but that time is past, far and past, and it's too bad because I used to like to read the manuals, in the bathroom or on the way home. On the way home as a kid, you used to pop it open and read the manual and expecting what the game was like, but now I guess that's gone. But Sly Cooper, I'll check it out. Got my second issue of Pure Nintendo. This is issue number 9 for February. And I just flipped through it, and the funny thing is, in the back, they have upcoming releases, and see right there if I can focus. They have Rayman Legends, a game I was looking forward to. It was coming out at the end of the month. Got pushed back until September, so that's not coming out now. But kind of disappointing, but at least other platform people will get it, like the Xbox will get it now, and the PlayStation 3 will get it. So, and that's good, because from when I played the demo, it was amazing. I played that rock level over and over again. I just love that. It was you just ran, and and when you jumped over the obstacles, the music would go to your. It's hard to explain, but your movements followed the beat of the music, and it was just so amazing. You could actually, I imagine, if you played it enough, you could just listen to everything and close your eyes and play the level just by hearing it. It's just amazing. Also, finally, I pre-ordered this back in August, and finally it came this Tuesday. And that's Legend of Zelda Hyrule Historia. I just briefly flipped through it. It's going to take me a while to read this. I'll read a few pages a night. It has that nice new book smell. Yeah, I like to smell new books and stuff. Beautiful, beautiful book with the gold inlay. It has the official timeline. Goes over all the games. Skyward Sword is in here, covered a lot because it's the first in the Zelda series, and I really like Skyward Sword, so that's a plus too. So happy to get Legend of Zelda Hyrule Historia. A great book. I recommend it. I think it's still on Amazon for $22 or something. Highly recommend this book. Picked up some strategy guides. Speaking of Zelda, for $1 I picked up the Minish Cap, and I haven't played this since 2000. When did this come out? 2002, I want to say. No, 2004. I'm gonna say. The Minish Cap is a great Zelda game. It has Vati in it, the wizard. And I don't remember if it has Ganon in it. I didn't fight Ganon, but I don't remember fighting Ganon. But it has the map in there, so there's the map of Hyrule. Just a great game, and I should replay it on the Game Boy Player. Because I remember I used to play it on just my SP, my front-lit SP. Picked up also, I have a Metroid Fusion strategy guide. This was the Metroid Prime and that was an official Nintendo Power Guide, which is a plus. Anytime you can get Nintendo Power Guides. This is the Prime 2 games in 1 strategy guide for Metroid Prime and Metroid Fusion. Prime came out and Fusion came out within a week of or within a few days of each other. And you could actually link them up, and I think you could unlock the first Metroid if you beat Fusion or Prime. You can unlock the first Metroid in Prime. So this goes through all the games. I recently finished Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, and that was a good game. I still like the first Prime better. I remember more about it, but I haven't played it in years, and I should go back and replay it on the Prime Trilogy Collection. But this is connecting Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance. If you also have Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance, you're in for a real treat. After completing at least one of the 2 games, all you need is a Game Link cable to link your Game Boy Advance to your GameCube. Once you complete Metroid Fusion on the Game Boy Advance, go to Load Screen in Metroid Prime and select Metroid Fusion connection bonuses. From there, just follow the on-screen directions and you'll soon be reliving video game history. NES Metroid can now be played on your GameCube. Once you complete Metroid Prime and connect Metroid Fusion to your GameCube via the Game Link cable, you unlock the Metroid Fusion seat from Metroid Prime. Follow the on-screen directions from the Metroid Prime loading screen to connect the Game Boy Advance to your GameCube. Once all is loaded, you can choose the suit that Samus wears in Metroid Fusion. That's pretty cool. I never actually did that. So that's kind of awesome. And if you haven't played the Prime games or Fusion, Zero Mission is also a retelling. Zero Mission is also one for the Game Boy Advance, and it's amazing because it's a far more playable nowadays. It's a retelling of the first Metroid on the NES. Far more playable in terms of aging-wise. It aged a little bit better. So if you can find them, pick them up. They're pretty cheap too. The Game Boy Advance ones are more expensive than the GameCube ones. The GameCube ones will run you about $5. Also picked up for $1, and this I could actually use because I never actually finished this. I got to the last boss. I was in college at the time, and for some reason I didn't beat him. I remember fighting him, but I didn't beat him. Or maybe I did beat him, I don't remember. But I never found everything, and this is a game, if you've played Donkey Kong 64, you know how much collecting there is in this game. And to have a guide for this is very helpful because there's a ton of stuff to collect in this game. It's just a collect-a-thon. Made by the guys at Rare, of course. They were the king of platformers on the 64. One of the pioneers of the platforming genre. Mario 64 started it, or started the whole template of it. And Rare kind of came in and really added to that and really tweaked it and made it what it is today. They have a lot to owe to the 64 for 3D platformers. And I believe that is everything. I don't see anything else. So as always, guys, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again. Bye.